Alright guys, what is going on? It's Carnage Defense bringing you another video today, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the Springfield Hellcat Pro versus the SIG P365X Macro Comp. Now, if you don't know, Springfield recently came out with a Hellcat Pro Comp, which is really what I'm going to be comparing against the SIG today. So, to give you a little bit of context, the gun is pretty much the same length. The Springfield has the barrel sticking out a hair, so really same length, it's just a hair longer. They're pretty much the same width. The Hellcat Pro is 1 inch, the SIG is 1.1 inch wide, so pretty much the same there. The barrel on the Hellcat Pro is 3.7 inches, the barrel on the SIG P365X Macro Comp is 3.1 inches, so if you're going to be shooting a little bit longer distance, the Hellcat may be the better choice. As far as the trigger goes on the SIG, I do like the trigger design better than the Hellcat Pro. The Hellcat Pro has a safety in the trigger versus the SIG does not. I really like this one more. It doesn't give me trigger bite. It's much more pleasant to shoot. Another thing to consider between these two guns is that the SIG is completely modular. The Hellcat Pro is not. What do I mean by completely modular? On the Hellcat Pro, the serialized part is the whole frame right here. So if you wanted a new one, you'll have to end up getting one that is serialized, and you have to have it sent to an FFL, and you're not going to be able to change it out very easily. With that said, the slide is easily changed, the trigger easily changed, the barrel, everything else but the frame is easily changed. Now, as far as the SIG goes, the serialized part is the trigger. So if you wanted a different frame, you can have it shipped to your doorstep. The slide here, also easily changed. The barrel, same thing. The trigger, I don't know if you can upgrade the trigger in this. That I'm not 100% sure on. I'm going to assume no, but I could be wrong. Both of these guns come optics cut, and both of them have pick rails for an accessory light. I will say the finish on the Springfield is far better than the finish on the SIG. I think SIG definitely dropped the ball on that. But as far as ammo capacity, the SIG is 17 rounds, though I haven't been able to actually put 17 rounds in it. My magazines only hold 16, and the gun is well broken in, so I don't know. I guess I just have to keep shooting it. The Hellcat Pro is a 15-round flush fit magazine, and then you can also get an extended one for it like this one here, so it adds a little bit more length for your pinky versus this one. It's right on the edge. And if you put them side by side, you can visibly see the Hellcat Pro sticks out a little further. I do like that there is two different options, though. You can go flush fit with 15 rounds or extended for 17 rounds. Usually, the grip length is the thing that is the hardest to conceal. So the flush fit is usually better for concealment, but it's nice to have that other 2 rounds if you needed it. Not to mention that the Hellcat Pro magazines are stainless steel versus the SIG ones are painted, and the SIG ones are notorious for rusting. These ones are not. I don't know if you could tell, but I am down to bare metal on my SIG magazines after 500 rounds on almost all sides. This is what the back looks like. And just so I can show you guys, here's the trigger pull. So right there. Not the best trigger. It's definitely heavy, but I mean, for concealed carry, it's pretty much what you need. And then here's the reset. Pretty long reset, all things considered. Trigger pull again. So what I found is that the wall on the Springfield, without any bullets in it, when you're not shooting it, the wall feels fine. But when you actually are out in the field shooting it, the wall you can easily slide past. So that's why I upgraded to the Apex trigger on my actual carry gun. So this is the one that I normally carry. I really like the trigger on this one, though it's not as smooth as I was hoping it would be, but it's pretty nice. Here's the trigger pull. So this one here has like 2 walls. I don't really like that. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way or if I just installed it improperly, which is a possibility, but I call that the first wall. Then it jumps. Okay, and then here's the second wall. Then right after this, it just goes. Hardly any movement. And then here's the reset. Much shorter reset. There you go. Now, that is the Hellcat Pro triggers. I'm going to show you the SIG triggers. So this is the only SIG that I have. Here's the trigger pull. So there you go. So there's the take up. Kind of like a thud, right? It's Not the best feeling trigger. It's kind of like gritty a little bit, but it's not bad. You can definitely shoot it quickly. It just takes some practice. So here's the reset. Probably about the same distance as the Hellcat Pro. As far as triggers go, both of them are not very great, but considering that the SIG doesn't have the safety on the trigger, this one is much nicer for me to shoot because I don't get trigger bite. For whatever reason, on Springfield guns, I always get trigger bite. It is what it is. So if I had to pick between the SIG P365X Macro Comp or the Hellcat Pro Comp, I mean, for the price, I would go Hellcat Pro. If you're balling on a budget, the Hellcat Pro Comp is the way to go. In my opinion, much better finish on the slide. It's got a fantastic lifetime warranty. It's got good finish on the magazines. It's stainless steel. You really can't go wrong with it. And it's stupid reliable. And people don't run into that dropping the SIG problem that some of these have, which I've heard people have had that issue with the P365X macros or just the P365 in general. And that is very scary considering that if it's your everyday carry, you're probably going to drop it at some point because of just what it is. Maybe improper holster or you're just moving it around a lot and it's going to drop and you don't want it to go off. So as far as that goes, I would definitely go Hellcat Pro. If you're a person that cares more about performance, modularity, and capacity, I would definitely go SIG. You are going to run into an issue with this gun potentially rusting if you live near the ocean or in a very humid environment. Or if you're just a very sweaty person in general, you are going to run into issues with this gun rusting. And like I said, the magazine finishes are not great. They're $60 magazines, and you're just going to end up rubbing through the finish on all of them. It is what it is. Those are probably going to rust too. I mean, it's a really bad problem to have for a gun this expensive, considering that the Springfield doesn't do it. But, I mean, hey, if you're a diehard SIG fan, I totally get it. I would say the modularity is super nice about this gun, considering that you can change out the frame to literally anything you want, any size. You can change out to a different material like aluminum or steel. I mean, there is a bunch of different options out there. It is really nice that you can do that on this gun, but you know, it's the price you pay, right? So everything else is going to have issues. I also found it to be very difficult to be accurate with this gun. For whatever reason, the iron sights on this gun were not consistent with me, so I will end up putting a red dot on it here shortly. I have not been carrying it around, so I haven't needed to put a red dot on it yet, but it's very inconsistent for me. The Hellcat Pro, I don't really have that problem with. I've found it to be very accurate, so that's a plus. As far as reliability goes for both guns, I have 500 rounds through this one. Not a single problem. No light primer strikes. No, failure to feeds. Nothing. It's been perfect. Same thing for the Hellcat Pro. I have probably about 1,500 rounds through both of my Hellcat Pros just in general. That's total. And I've not had a single hiccup with any of them. So if I personally had to pick a gun, I would go with the Hellcat Pro Comp. For one, I'm balling on a budget, right? Spending more than $700 on a carry gun for me is a stretch. I can do it. I can definitely afford it. But for the simple fact that it's going to get used, it's going to get abused, and you want a gun that's as reliable as possible with a good finish, I think that's where SIG falls short, is the finish. I don't want to worry about my gun rusting while I'm carrying it. That's where the finish on the Springfield will definitely win. Plus the fact that it's got a fantastic lifetime warranty, and I believe SIG does too. But the other nice thing is that, yes, the trigger has a safety. I get trigger bite, but the trigger is also replaceable. So it's very easy to just go get a different brand trigger. So keep in mind, there's pretty much a $200 difference between this gun and the Hellcat Pro. So that is my stance on these two guns. Personally, I'm going Hellcat Pro Comp. The SIG P365X Macro Comp is a great gun. I have a really difficult time with the quality of the finish on the gun. I'm just not a fan of it. Everything else on the gun is great. I love that it's modular. It's a great gun. I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to sell it. But if I had to pick one for me personally that I'm going to everyday carry, I would go with the Springfield Hellcat Pro Comp. But that's assuming that they have the same recoil mitigation, which I believe they do. Let me know down below in the comments, out of these two guns, which one you would pick and why. Let me know if you're a fan of Springfield or if you're a fan of SIG. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. Anyways, it's Carnage Defense. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.